Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to my podcast. This is episode 447, I believe. Man, I should always look before I say that. I never really know. Anyway, on this episode or this podcast, what I really want to talk about is what do you do when you're just super efficient at your business? You're super efficient at detailing and you start getting these acquisitions of customers. This mainly happens when you're mobile, not so much when you have a shop because there's other ways around it that if I remember, we'll talk about. But how do you handle this, I guess, accusation or the statement by clients of like, whoa, you got done too quick. Like, whoa, you're making more than a lawyer. You charge more than a lawyer when you break it out per hourly. And all these kind of negative kind of statements, I guess would be a better word, that get thrown out. And that's what used to happen to me and started to happen to me. So I set some parameters and some guidelines up that kind of made those go away. So that's what I want to talk about in this podcast episode. And so, again, as you're trying to progress in your detailing business, it's only natural that you would get quicker, or maybe you have upgraded your tools, maybe you've upgraded your products, and so you're able to get through the detail a lot quicker. And also you've gained experience, so you know maybe shortcuts or just ways to work your way through the detail much quicker. And if you don't set expectations from the beginning, which is going to be kind of the first bullet point in this, if you don't set those proper expectations from the beginning with your client, you are going to kind of set yourself up for not failure, but a lot of explaining to do later. And so what I want to help is kind of help you mitigate that, and so that you don't get those statements of like, you're making too much money, or why am I paying you this much and it only took you 30 minutes or 20 minutes or an hour or 2 hours. This took my last guy 8 hours. And that's what I hear or used to, until I got a shop, hear a lot of like, well, the last guy, it took him 6 hours. How did it take you an hour and a half? Are you sure you waxed it? Are you sure you did this? Are you sure you did that? And so there was a few things that I began to implement right away. And so I'll share those with you. So the first thing to do is to set expectations. And how you do that is you do a walkthrough with the customer on the car, and you ask them what they want to see, what they don't care about, what's their pain points, and find their pain points and make sure you address those first, or make sure you address those all together. The second one is you could explain your services based around that. So you're doing a walkthrough with the customer, which is another good place to check for dents and dings and scratches and things that you may get accused for later. So you can make notes of those or go over those with the customer. But a walkthrough is always a very, very good thing to do with your customer. And again, you could learn their pain points. And then from there, you can tell them what service would probably be best for them. So, hey, a wash and clay wax would be perfect for you. There's nothing I can do about the rim rash. This scratch we talked about, I'll do my best on it, but no guarantees. Or, I could, do it 70, 80%, or maybe you're doing a paint correction and you can explain that. And then you want to document it and make sure they sign off on those services. And as you're explaining your services, that is when you tell them an estimated time. Hey, this is going to take about 3 hours, or this is going to take 2 days, or this is going to take a day and a half. Because really there's nothing worse when you are a customer than either being in the dark with how long it's going to take, or being told that it's going to take 8 hours and it takes 2. That's when you start getting messed up. Or it's going to take a day and it takes 3 days. People are busy. They start planning their days around how long you're going to have their car, how long they're not going to have their car. And if you don't set that expectation and you don't tell them a time frame, then you're really going to set yourself up, because they're going to let their mind go with how long they think it should take, or based on their last experiences, how long it took. So after you do the walkthrough, then you explain your services and you tell them how long it's going to take. And of course, you want them to sign off on this. Again, that way you can limit your liability not get accused of things that you didn't do that may have been wrong with the car. And it just kind of gives an overall game plan with what you're going to do to their car, how much they're going to pay, how long it's going to take, and then that is going to set you up for after the detail. Then you can follow up and ask for a review, a return customer, trying to put them on a maintenance plan or a continuity plan to get them as a reoccurring client. And it's going to set up for a very, very smooth transition after the detail is done. But if you don't do that, that's where you really run into failure. And really try to have to start backtracking like, well, yeah, I waxed your car. It's like, well, prove that you waxed it. Well, can't really see the wax, but I promise I put it on there, but I know you can't see it, but it looks better, right? And so you don't want to get to that after detail prepayment where you're trying to explain yourself and justify your service. That's where some really tricky clients will try to negotiate with you after the service, which is you definitely don't want to go down that route. And you can really, really just get yourself into some sticky situations. So again, make sure you're doing that pre-inspection walkthrough. You're explaining your services. You're explaining exactly how long it's going to take. And then you're making sure you get their autograph, approving that payment. And again, it just makes it very, very, very smooth. So with that, that's all for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed that episode. Just a little quick tip. And I will catch you guys on the next episode. See ya.